In this section, we will cover removing directories and files. So let's get started. Let's start with removing files. Let's do an ls, see what I have. Okay, so the first example I'm going to perform is remove file 1. rm is a command that you use to remove a file. It stands for remove, rm. So let's remove file 1. As you can see, I have three files, file 1, and file 2. There's also a directory called dir2. But in this case, we're going to remove file 1, which is this file. So let's get started. rm file 1, hit enter. I'm going to type in y, yes, to remove regular empty file 1. Let's do an ls. As you can see, file 1 is gone. The way my system settings are set right now, when I delete a file, it asks me for a confirmation. That's why I had to hit Y to delete the file. Usually that may not be the case on some of the systems or depending on your system settings. In most cases, when you are deleting a file, you want to remove a file with -I option, because when you if you're used to using rm -I or -I, it will always ask you for a confirmation. In my case, my system settings are such that it asks me anyways, but that's not the case always. So let's delete this file, file 2, with I option to show you what you will get if normally you do not get a confirmation. So rm -I file 2. I'm going to hit enter. So normally, if you use -I option, this is you will get, and you will just hit Y and hit enter. And in most cases, depending on your system settings, it will not ask you this. So get used to using -I just to be safe, so you don't remove something that you don't want to. Let's move on to the next example. rm-f file. This is to remove file forcefully, no confirmation, no questions asked, done. So in my case, I have the setting where it asks me, but if I use a -f option, it should not ask me anything. So let's do an ls again. As you can see, I have file. This is the only file left. rm-f file. I'm going to hit enter. As you can see, no questions asked, done. Let's do an ls. The file is gone. This is how you remove files with different options. Let me clear the screen and we will move on to the next example. We will cover removing directories now. Let's start with removing a directory called dir1. It's an empty directory, and this is how you can delete an empty directory with a command called rmdir or remove dir. Let's do an ls. As you can see, I have a directory called dir2, so let's just remove that one. rmdir dir2. Hit enter. Let's do an ls. As you can see, the directory's gone. There's nothing else listed here anymore. This is how you delete an empty directory. If the directory is empty, you can run rmdir command and it will delete it. But if the directory is not empty, in that case, you will be using rm command instead of rmdir command. Because if you want to delete the directory with its files in it, maybe the directory has other directories, other files, other content. You want to remove that, you will be using rm command with the switch or option -r, which stands for recursively. So it will delete the files recursively. So we already did this. to delete an empty file. Let's try, let's create a directory called dir1 and let's try this one. Make dir is a command to create directories. I'm going to create a directory called dir1. Let's do an ls. As you can see, dir1 exists now. Actually, let me cd into dir1 and let's create a file in there. Touch. Let's call the file test. Test. Let's do an ls. As you can see, test exists in dir1. So directory 1 or dir1 is no longer empty. Let's go out of this directory. Cd dot dot takes you to one level up. Okay. So let's do an ls now. Okay. As you can see, dir1 exists now, and now there's a file in it. Let's try the previous command that we ran on an empty directory. Let's see if that works. rmdir dir1. Hit enter. Failed to remove dir1, directory not empty. So as you can see, directory 1, if it's not empty, rmdir command will not work. It will only work on empty directories. Let's move on to using the command that will actually get this accomplished, which is rm-r and then the directory name. Okay, rm-r and the directory name. I'm going to hit enter. Okay, when you have files in a directory, it will give you a message descend into directory, and you want to type in Y for yes, hit enter. Okay, now it's saying remove regular empty file dir1/test, which is the file we created. Y for yes, hit enter. Now it's saying remove directory dir1. Y, hit enter. Let's do an ls. As you can see, the directory is gone. But here's the catch. We had to type in Y to confirm as a yes and hit enter 2-3 times to get rid of this directory. What if you had 100 files in this directory? Would you be hitting Y enter 100 times? That would be such a waste of time. In that kind of scenario, there's another switch you can use, which is F. You will use it with R and F. This is the example. So basically, you will run the rm command to remove, and then you will use -r. R is to delete it recursively, and then F, which is to delete it forcefully. So this is how you remove a directory recursively and forcefully. No questions asked. You don't have to confirm Y every time, and this will save you a lot of time. Let's practice this command to see how it works. Let me clear the screen and we'll start over. Clear. As you can see, we're removing dir1. So let's create dir1. As you can see, I don't have any directories in here now. So let's do make dir. Let's call it dir1 again. Enter. Let's cd into dir1. Let's create a file in there called, let's create a couple of files. Let's create a file called 1, 2, 3 and hit enter. Okay, let me go out of this directory, move one level up. Let's do an ls. As you can see, dir1 exists. Let's do an ls on dir1. As you can see, dir1 currently has files 1, 2, and 3. So let's try to delete them without getting any messages. rm -rf, which is to delete them recursively and forcefully. Recursively means descend into all the files and directories. Forcefully means forcefully. Don't ask me any questions, just get it done. And directories dir1, hit enter. No questions asked. That's a done deal. So that's how you take care of files and directories, the ones you want to remove, and how you can do them recursively and forcefully. I hope you learned something useful in this video as well, and I'll see you in the next one.